When you're talking about overachieving teams, Air Force has to be near the top of that conversation. Troy Calhoun has done an incredible job of getting this team to win 8, 9, 10 games, maybe even 11. And we don't really talk about it that much because everyone's kind of infatuated with Army Navy for obvious reasons. But a lot of times it's Air Force that is the best team lately. This is a coaching staff has done a great job of evaluating talent. And when you look at the talent they have returning this year, honestly, this is a team that could compete for Mountain West Championship. That they were in that conversation. I think they were seriously in that conversation last year, and it kind of faded off at the end of the year. But I think this is a team that you definitely need to watch out for in 2022. Starting at the top, Brad Roberts, the fullback, running back hybrid for this offense, had 1,356 yards and 13 touchdowns last year. Just an absolute bowling ball of a runner. Refuses to go down, just will not take no for an answer. He is going to impose his will on this defense, and this is an offense that's going to get him the football as much as they can, and they're going to get results. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to run the football. He knows how to use leverage, and there's not a lot of people that really can tackle him. Vince Sanford, another guy who embodies the underdog kind of mentality. This dude can play. If you have not watched him, I highly recommend it. 59 tackles last year, 17 tackles for loss, 9.5 sacks. This defense took a step forward last year, and I think that they can be even better in 2022. The offense is going to do its thing. We'll talk about a bunch of guys on the offensive side of the ball, but Sanford deserves more recognition. I think he and Andre Carter from Army, if you're looking for guys who are going to deserve more recognition than they get, they're going to get it this year. These two can really be disruptive, as evident by Sanford's 17 tackles for loss. He knows how to make plays in the backfield. He knows what he's doing, and it's really tough for teams to block him because he's just so good. And it's like I said, an overachiever on a team that's going to overachieve. If this defense can take that next step and really be a factor this year, Air Force is going to be in that conference championship conversation. Quarterback Haaziq Daniels, a great dual threat for this offense. Now, we've seen the explosive talent as a passer. We saw him take a step forward in that area. Now, he's still very reliable, very dynamic as a runner. Last year, completed 50% of his passes. That percentage is not ideal. Only 1,100 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. This is a running football team. That's just what it is. It's kind of that hybrid of the triple option and the spread. They like to mix things up, and Daniels is now a veteran in that offense. He's more comfortable in what he's doing, and towards the end of the year, it looked like he was kind of figuring things out. Things were clicking for him as a passer. I really want to see what he can do if he's able to figure it out and be a force as a passer. 734 yards and 11 touchdowns rushing. We know the rushing. We know he can do that. But if he can open things up with his arm, again, you better hope that doesn't happen because Air Force is going to be a nightmare to stop, even more so than they already are. Defensive tackle Christopher Herrera took a step forward last year. Like I said, this defense really helped out in terms of getting to that 10-win mark. 44 tackles, 7.5 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks. If you're getting that kind of production from your defensive tackle, you're in business because that means up the middle is not an option. You're getting leverage, you're getting into your gap, and you're beating your man to the point where the ball carrier has nowhere to go. Guys like Vince Sanford are going to benefit from that too because when they see things not working up the middle, they're going to try to stretch things out horizontally. And regardless if you're an inside linebacker or an outside linebacker, really outside linebacker or a defensive end, you're going to be in business because there's nothing up in the middle. That means all you have to do is keep contained. Don't let the ball carrier break contain, and you're going to have yourself a nice game because of what's going on in the middle. Micah Davis there's a lot of hybrid. I kind of like what about Air Force's offense. You kind of have guys that do one thing and they also, they also double as another thing. So you have a wide receiver running back hybrid, which is essentially a lot of people can have that, but this offense is like almost intentional about doing that. 360 yards and that's on the ground, 7.7 yards per catch as a running back, 22.1 yards per catch as a wide receiver. So sorry, 7.7 yards per carry, 22.1 yards per catch. That's crazy. And this is a guy who has 57 touches from last year. You're looking at 57 touches and you're hoping you can get him more. It's going to be hard when you're giving Brad Roberts almost 300 touches and Haaziq Daniels is going to be running the football. But this is a weapon that you have to utilize. Someone that you're going to, he's going to be wide open because teams are going to be worried that Daniels is going to beat them with his legs and Roberts is going to beat them with their legs, which opens the passing game up. And also, if you get Davis the football, you don't have extra attention on him. Maybe you guys fall asleep, and that means that, as we've already seen, he's more than capable of making big plays, and that could really tear up a defense. At number 6, Trey Taylor. The secondary loses a veteran presence in Milton Bugg, which means that a guy like Trey Taylor gets a chance to be a leader. Does a little bit of everything for the defense, and that means his production probably is going to step up. They're probably going to rely on him to be the leader on the back end of the defense. And when you look at some of these offenses that they're going to play, teams are going to test that secondary because they lose that veteran presence. So if Taylor can step up and he can get the rest of the guys around him to play at a high level, then this defense has nothing to worry about. It looks like the front seven is going to be solid. It just comes down to what the back end can do. Linebacker T.D. Blackman, everybody's going to be paying attention to Vince Sanford. That is no secret. If you look at what they did last year, if you watch the film, you know that they're going to try to take him away. T.D. Blackman gets a chance to step up and improve his production. Only had 33 tackles. He did have 5 tackles for loss. When you look at what this defense is trying to do and what teams are going to scheme around against them, Blackman's going to get a chance to make plays. If they're able to block everything on the first level and keep Sanford out of the play, then the inside linebackers and the other guys that are going to be at that second level get a chance to step up, and Blackman is one of those guys. Tight end Cal Patterson did not have the best year last year. He was limited for various reasons. Only 3 catches, but they were 481 yards, and that's 27 yards per catch. So even in limited production, he was still pretty explosive. So if he's able to get back to where he once was, then this offense, especially the passing attack, is going to be fun to watch. He can be that reliable pass catcher for Daniels. Another fullback, this one is more of a fullback, and that's Emmanuel Michel. 73 carries for 427 yards. He averaged 5.8 yards per carry as a fullback. That's pretty good. And if you can take things away in terms of the load that Brad Roberts has to shoulder, then that's going to give you yet another option in terms of that rushing attack. And then finally, center. His name's Thor. Do I need to go into it anymore? The guy's name is Thor. He's an experienced player up front. You have the center and quarterback coming back, and that's going to be a great combination for an offense that's going to be extremely fun to watch.